Hey, what's up guys? I just want to do a quick short video real quick of my new bike. This is a Canyon Stoic 2 and it is what I personally believe to be the best value for a new trail hardtail for this year. This bike is right around $1,200, however, including shipping and tax, it's $1,400, so it's a very good price to spec. If you have a little bit more money, I'd definitely recommend getting the slightly more expensive Stoic 4, which is right about $2,000, but it comes with much nicer parts on it. But for those not willing to spend that much on a bike right off the start, this is a really nice, ready to ride trail hardtail. Let's start off with the specs real quick. Up here we have a 140 millimeter Suntour XCR. It is a boost through axle, as you can see here, 15 by 110. We have a rebound knob down here, a lockout, no compression dampening, and it is obviously an air fork, as you can see by this little cap here. I definitely need to tune it a little bit more. It's pretty good fork. It's definitely not the best air fork on the market, but for the price, it's not bad, especially you get the 34 millimeter stanchions on this model. It's very stiff and good travel. So additionally, up here in the cockpit, we have Shimano MT200 brakes, these nice wide 780 millimeter bars, short, I believe it's a 40 millimeter stem. This is a medium model and I am about 5'11", so this was a pretty good fit for me. I didn't want to go too big because this is a 29er. The small through double extra small sizes are 27.5 and the medium to extra large are 29ers. And that brings us to these wheels and tires. We have these really nice Schwalbe tires. These are 2.35s. It's a Magic Mary up front and then a Hands Damp in the rear. I like them, they're pretty good. I haven't tried too many tires, but these seem pretty good. I'll definitely run them for the life of the tire. They're pretty soft, nice grip, so no really any complaints there. And those are wrapped around these 30 millimeter wide Alex rims, which are laced to these Shimano hubs. It's, not the best hubs, they're not the worst. Also have this big 203 millimeter rotor in the front, so that's really nice. You get good rotors off the start, you don't really have to replace those. There's a 180 over here in the rear, so pretty much perfect for trail riding. The brakes are certainly adequate for a beginner or slightly more advanced rider. Although if you're doing some really technical or super duper fast trails, you might want to upgrade them. I will be upgrading them in the future, so stay tuned for that. This model does not come with a dropper post, which I will most definitely add one in the future. I'm not sure what post I'm going to get yet. Probably a Transx Kitsuma or maybe even a PNW Loam. We'll see how that goes. This seat right here, it's okay. It's definitely pretty firm. If you like a softer saddle, I'd definitely swap it. I'll probably swap this one for something different in the future. It's a little bit small for me, so I might swap to like a medium saddle, maybe a WT Volt or something like that. Let's go down here to the drivetrain now. There's this pretty generic, I think it's a Pro something crankset, hollow textile, nice. It's not a 104 BCD, I think it's like an 86 or a 96, something like that. It's kind of weird, which means it could lead to chain rings being a little bit more expensive because it's not completely standard. These pedals I added myself. I actually did not receive any pedals with my bike, which is fairly normal, although I did I thought it was supposed to come with some generic cheap pedals. It didn't. I wasn't really worried. I already have a few sets of pedals laying around. These aren't staying on this bike permanently. This is just what I threw on to test, and I have some better pedals that I'll be permanently putting on this bike. But not really any complaints with anything. And then last but not least, we have a pretty nice Shimano Dior 10-speed drivetrain, you know, obviously with a clutch. This little lever right here, it's on right now. You flip it down, turns it off. You do have to install the derailleur hanger here. It's just one little bolt you put in, and it doesn't really take too long. It shifted really well out of the box. I definitely have had to adjust it a little bit, but it's super easy to do. No problems with that. And aside from doing a little bit of regular maintenance, you know, making sure your bearings are tight, including your headset and your crankset, I really haven't had any problems with this bike. And I'd like to know if you own one of these, you know, give me your thoughts on it, or if you are interested, ask any questions in the comments. The rims are as well tubeless ready, so I may end up going tubeless on this bike in the future, just getting some valves and sealant and doing that. And another really nice thing that I really like about this frame is the derailleur is internally routed, and it has routes for a dropper, but the brakes are not. As you can see here, the rear brake just runs down the top tube, which is very nice because that means you don't have to bleed a brake to install a new one. You can just zip tie it on instead of having to, you know, unbolt it, pass it through the frame and all that. So that makes it a lot easier to do that. And one more thing, the shifter, I really like that it is the Shimano style where you can use either your thumb or the trigger or your pointer finger. So it made swapping from a you know, thumb and pointer finger only shifter a lot easier. So now I can just do thumb only, but you know, in the beginning would have gotten a little bit confused. So that definitely helps if you're coming from a cheaper bike, maybe with a lower end drivetrain on it, that doesn't have a thumb only shifter. So that's all I've done. I did add this bottle cage myself, by the way. That didn't come with it, but it was pretty cheap. It's only like $6. I got it at REI. It's good enough for my purposes. I might get like a fid lock or something eventually once I do really rough trails, but I'm not doing anything super crazy yet on this bike, so we'll see if that holds up or whatever. One thing I do wish they did is a quick release seat post clamp, because this bike doesn't come stock with a dropper, so you either have to carry a multi-tool with you everywhere or just set it and forget it, kind of like I did. I have my seat a little bit low right now because I am practicing my wheelies a lot, and so my seat isn't in a full height position. But this bike also has a very slack head tube angle, which is a 65 degree, which is pretty slack for you know, hardtail, especially a trail bike, you know, coming from a really steep XC bike. It's definitely a big change, but it definitely feels a lot nicer in the downhills. I haven't had any problems climbing on this bike, which I do a decent amount of. Most of my trails are pretty up and down for the most part. And one of the main reasons I got this bike is just this frame looks so good. This white and gold accented frame. Canes are definitely very nice looking bikes. The welds look pretty good. But aside from that, I haven't had any problems with my bike yet, or hopefully ever. And I'd like to know what you guys think of it. You know, it's probably the best deal on a new trail-ready hardtail out there. So let me know what you think, guys. Peace.